11,000 years ago, in the sun-baked hills of what is now southern Turkey, a community of people constructed something that, by every old rule of history, should not have existed. Massive T-shaped limestone pillars, each weighing several tons, carved with astonishing precision and arranged into towering circular enclosures. No writing, no metal tools, no centralized empire directing the work. Nothing, at least according to the traditional timeline, that should have made such a project possible. When archaeologists first uncovered Göbekli Tepe, it didn't simply surprise them, it forced them to reconsider the entire narrative of how civilization began. For decades, the question of who built this place ignited fierce debate, bold speculation, and genuine scientific controversy. Then, ancient DNA entered the story, and what it revealed about the people behind those stones, their origins, their lives, their place in our shared past, turned out to be far more compelling than any myth. Imagine standing on a limestone hilltop in southeastern Turkey, dry rolling plains stretched toward the horizon. Beneath your feet, hidden under centuries of accumulated soil, lies a complex of circular stone structures so vast, so carefully built, and so staggeringly old that when archaeologists first began to expose them, many struggled to accept what they were seeing. The site sits in the Şanlıurfa region of southern Turkey, and its oldest layers date back roughly 11,000 years. What excavations revealed was unlike anything previously known from that era. Towering T-shaped pillars, some nearly 6 meters tall and weighing up to 10 tons, arranged in large circular enclosures. Many are carved with remarkable detail: foxes, vultures, scorpions, wild boar, and abstract symbols whose meanings remain uncertain. These are not crude markings, they are deliberate works of skilled artistry. To grasp the significance, consider the timeline. Stonehenge was built around 5,000 years ago, the Great Pyramids of Giza around 4,500 years ago. Göbekli Tepe predates both by thousands of years. When these pillars were raised, the domestication of wheat and barley was only beginning. Pottery had not yet been invented. The wheel was still millennia away. By conventional definitions of civilization, the people who built this site were not supposed to be capable of building it. When German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began systematic excavations in the 1990s, he proposed a theory that immediately captured global attention. The builders, he argued, were semi-nomadic hunter-gatherers. They did not live permanently at the site, but gathered seasonally for ritual purposes. During those gatherings, they carried out the monumental labor of quarrying, transporting, and erecting the pillars. Schmidt interpreted the structures as temples, sacred spaces, and advanced a provocative idea: organized religion preceded agriculture. The temple came before the farm. That claim challenged one of archaeology's most deeply rooted assumptions, that agricultural surplus enables social complexity, which in turn enables monumental architecture and religious institutions. Schmidt suggested the reverse, that the desire to build something sacred may have been what drove people toward agriculture in the first place. But as decades of excavation continued, the picture grew more complex. The hunter-gatherer model, compelling as it was, did not fully align with all the evidence emerging from the soil. And then came something Schmidt never had the chance to see: ancient DNA. Before science could answer who built Göbekli Tepe, imagination filled the gap. Theories appeared almost immediately. Some argued the site's scale proved that ordinary Stone Age humans could not have been responsible. The builders must have had help. There were claims involving the Anunnaki of Mesopotamian mythology, reimagined as extraterrestrial benefactors. Others invoked celestial watchers from the Book of Enoch. Some linked the site to the Garden of Eden, despite no biblical reference to megalithic construction. And perhaps most persistently, writers like Graham Hancock suggested Göbekli Tepe was the work of a lost advanced civilization destroyed during the Younger Dryas climatic event. A few even propose that certain carvings recorded an ancient comet impact. What these theories share is a single assumption that the people of 11,000 years ago were not capable of this achievement on their own. It is an assumption rooted in outdated 19th century ideas that equated prehistory with primitiveness. It is also wrong. The archaeological record tells a different story, and when ancient DNA was added to that record, it did not reveal hidden founders or mysterious outsiders. It revealed something far more grounded and, in many ways, more extraordinary. The artifacts at the site challenge the idea of purely seasonal hunter-gatherers. Tens of thousands of sickle blades have been uncovered, tools specifically designed for harvesting cereal crops. Mortars, pestles, and grinding stones indicate intensive grain processing. Analysis has shown many were used on plants from the barley and wheat family. These were not people casually gathering wild seeds, they were deeply engaged with cereals. Animal remains tell a similar story. Large numbers of wild sheep bones show early signs of management, a step toward domestication. The architecture itself suggests permanence. Smaller structures resemble houses. The large enclosures were likely roofed. When compared with other early Neolithic villages, Göbekli Tepe fits the broader pattern of communities transitioning from foraging to farming. And then came the genetic evidence. Ancient DNA from Anatolia, the Levant, and the Zagros Mountains revealed that populations across this region were genetically distinct but locally rooted. The Anatolian lineage associated with Göbekli Tepe shows no trace of some vanished advanced civilization, no ghost population, no mysterious external ancestry. The builders were the descendants of people who had lived in the region for thousands of years. As agriculture spread westward, these Anatolian farmers moved with it. Their genetic signature spread into Europe. Modern European populations carry a substantial portion of ancestry from this group. The people who raised those pillars are not an isolated mystery, they are among the ancestors of millions alive today. The DNA also supports the archaeological picture of gradual transition. These were not instant farmers, they were communities in the midst of change, harvesting wild cereals, managing animals, experimenting with cultivation. The genetic patterns reflect continuity in development, not replacement. Lost civilization theories often carry an unspoken message: ancient people were incapable. But the record of late Pleistocene and early Holocene humanity contradicts that view. These were skilled toolmakers, capable hunters of large game, builders of watercraft, navigators of open seas. The first Australians crossed vast ocean stretches tens of thousands of years ago. Mesolithic peoples sailed the Mediterranean to source obsidian and fish deep-water species. The engineering of Göbekli Tepe fits within that broader human capability. Ethnographic parallels show that communities without modern machinery can move massive stones through coordinated labor and knowledge. Calculations of the manpower required suggest the project was demanding but entirely achievable for a settled community of a few hundred people. Genetically, cognitively, neurologically, the builders were fully modern humans. The same minds that tracked mammoths, crossed oceans, and crafted intricate tools are the minds that imagined and erected those limestone pillars. Göbekli Tepe is often called the world's oldest temple, but it may be more than that. It represents a threshold, a preserved moment when social organization, symbolism, and subsistence strategies were all transforming. The Anatolian lineage connected to this site did not vanish, it expanded. It became foundational to European populations. The carvings on those pillars were made by people whose genetic legacy endures. Perhaps most striking is what this implies about civilization itself. The evidence suggests that social complexity and shared ritual may have preceded full agricultural domestication. The impulse to gather, to build something communal and enduring, may have helped drive the agricultural revolution, rather than simply resulting from it. And none of this required divine intervention or extraterrestrial guidance. The DNA is unambiguous. There is no hidden ancestry explaining the stones. only a community of modern humans standing at a turning point in history, doing what humans have always done: organizing, imagining, creating. 11,000 years ago, on a wind-swept hill in southern Turkey, people without writing or metal tools raised pillars that still command awe. What they had was cooperation, shared belief, accumulated knowledge, and a fully modern human mind. Göbekli Tepe is often called the world's oldest temple, but it may be more than that. It represents a threshold, a preserved moment when social organization, symbolism, and subsistence strategies were all transforming. The Anatolian lineage connected to this site did not vanish, it expanded. It became foundational to European populations. The carvings on those pillars were made by people whose genetic legacy endures. Perhaps most striking is what this implies about civilization itself. The evidence suggests that social complexity and shared ritual may have preceded full agricultural domestication. The impulse to gather, to build something communal and enduring, may have helped drive the agricultural revolution, rather than simply resulting from it. And none of this required divine intervention or extraterrestrial guidance. The DNA is unambiguous. There is no hidden ancestry explaining the stones. Only a community of modern humans standing at a turning point in history, doing what humans have always done: organizing, imagining, creating. 11,000 years ago, on a wind-swept hill in southern Turkey, people without writing or metal tools raised pillars that still command awe. What they had was cooperation, shared belief, accumulated knowledge, and a fully modern human mind.